The protagonist is a former agent tasked with catching and transporting a mysterious criminal across the ocean. However, during the flight, it turns out that the board is full of hired killers. The action begins on an airliner, where a large-scale fight with chainsaws and firearms unfolds in the cabin. One of the bullets pierces the fuselage, creating a hole through which the unlucky participants in the fight are thrown outside. The story then goes back 12 hours. Agent Aaron Hunter arrives at the office where colleagues are piecing together the details of a recent emergency, an explosion at a factory in Bangkok. Security camera footage reveals that a certain ghost is behind the terrorist attack, a legendary hacker who stole a huge sum of money. Later, this video clip ends up on the net, which only makes the situation worse. Hunter is eager to find the ghost before his boss finds out about the failure of the operation. Meanwhile, Agent Simmons tracks down a suspicious man whose face is obscured by digital interference and locates his location, an airport. But too late, Catherine Brant is already taking control of the situation. The nearest task force is far away, so she urgently needs an agent right in Bangkok. Meanwhile, Lucas Reyes, suffering from a hangover, is awakened by a street thief. He grudgingly gives the kid his money and then heads to a bar to continue his booze binge. There he is, distracted by a phone call. On the phone, Brant, with whom he has not communicated for 2 years. The woman asks for help, but Lucas is not interested. When he resets the call, she calls again, now to a landline. However, there is no chance to talk. They have already come for Lucas. Bloodied, he leaves the establishment and Brant calls again. She offers a deal. If he delivers the ghost in one piece, she will spare him from his pursuers. Lucas is reminded that she's the reason he's blacklisted from all airlines, but she promises to fix the problem. At the airport, Lucas will have a new passport waiting for him. After getting there, he appears in the video camera area to be noticed. After a couple minutes, a stranger approaches him and hands him a package with documents and a ticket for the flight to San Francisco, where the ghost is. At the same time, analysts notice traces of blood along the route, indicating that the hacker may have been injured. Simmons, studying the target's path, discovers that he recently visited a veterinary clinic. Brant sends agents to the airport to determine from passenger photos who has sought medical attention. Lucas passes through security, but his passport causes an error in the system. However, after a few manipulations, he is allowed through. Afterward, he calls Brant, but the latter cannot provide any information about the ghost's appearance, except for the assumption that he is injured. Aboard an airliner, the crew prepares for a 16-hour flight. Among the passengers is a frazzled Lucas in a bright pink t-shirt, seated in first class next to a man named Cayenne. At the same time, Brant receives disturbing news. Someone has announced a $10 million reward for killing a ghost and leaked the flight itinerary. This means that there are numerous assassins lurking among the passengers. Brant keeps it quiet in front of Lucas, but instructs his men to interrogate the veterinarian who helped the ghost to find out his identity. On the airplane, Cayenne offers Lucas a drink of whiskey, trying to strike up a friendly conversation. He even asks for advice on dance moves for his show. However, Lucas soon realizes that he has been poisoned. A neighbor thought he was a competitor and added something to the drink. Feeling like he is losing control of his body, he struggles to get to the bathroom, nearly falling on the way. Cayenne helps Lucas to the bathroom, wondering how he was able to resist after such a strong dose of tranquilizer. However, the body, accustomed to endless drinking, coped with it as well. A fierce fight ensued in the toilet stall, cracking mirrors, blows to the face, and breaking lamps. An exhausted Lucas struggles to fend off the assassin's attacks. Cayenne, humming a tune, almost gains the upper hand and is about to strangle him. But Lucas, pushing his feet off the toilet, sends his opponent into the ceiling. Cayenne's skull penetrates a protruding faucet, resulting in his death. Lucas informs Brant that the threat has been eliminated, then crawls into the shower to wash away traces of blood and induce vomiting, getting rid of the poisonous substances. Meanwhile, on board, including the cargo hold, assassins prepare to eliminate the mysterious ghost. A girl with unusual lenses spots an air marshal in the corridor and heads after him. Two crew members, Royce and Isha, hear a noise and start banging on the door, while Lucas hides a body in the ventilation system. The situation draws the attention of one of the air marshals. Opening the door, he notices blood on the ceiling and pulls out a gun, but Lucas neutralizes him instantly and takes the gun away. After handcuffing the marshal, he explains to the others that he is a special agent and is on a secret mission, and warns that there are plenty of killers among the passengers. Despite the lack of clear evidence, he is trusted and given a set of clothes for first-class passengers. A sleeping outfit in which it is impossible to hide weapons. Over a glass of vodka at the bar, Lucas puts forward a plan. First, notify the pilots, then determine which passengers pose a threat. While Isha relays the information to the crew, Royce and Lucas begin to look around the cabin for suspicious individuals. In one compartment, a steward discovers a marshal's badge and weapon. A second security officer is dropped by someone down the elevator shaft, leading to the baggage compartment. Lucas and Isha go downstairs where they find his body killed by an unknown assailant. After scrutinizing the girl's behavior, Lucas notices that she is hiding a wound in her stomach area and guesses that she is the ghost. No sooner does he say it out loud than they are attacked by a hidden assassin, but Isha eliminates the threat with an apt shot. Lucas explains that he is the only person on board interested in making sure she survives and offers to cooperate. They inform the pilots of the situation, demanding that they immediately block the entrance to the cockpit. Isha then returns to her duties, and Lucas goes to check on the passengers in first class. There he is met by a new threat, a woman in a black mask, a representative of the Chinese triad. After a fierce fight using every possible technique, including extremely painful blows, Lucas sends her face right onto the glasses. However, even after that, the killer continues to fight back until Lucas smashes her head against the glass. The trouble doesn't end there. 3 other members of the triad run to the noise. Wasting no time, Lucas grabs 2 bottles and uses their broken necks as improvised weapons. Having tackled them, he confronts another fighter, whom he first breaks his arm and then strangles, finally disarming him. At this point, Isha is approached by a man in a turban to whom she had recently brought coffee. He says he recognizes her from the signs described in the orientation. One of the wealthy people she victimized gave all the details. The killer is going to kill her, but suddenly loses consciousness. It turns out that the girl had added sleeping pills to his coffee beforehand. Meanwhile, Lucas realizes why he was attacked by the triad. All the passengers have gotten his picture on their phones as an additional target. While they hide the bodies, Isha tells Lucas about the triad's criminal schemes using child labor in electronics factories. Brant gives Hunter an update. Lucas was once a secret agent, but things went wrong. His temper led him to beat up a powerful politician who was bullying young girls. However, this man turned out to be the brother of the head of the CIA, which made Lucas an enemy of the intelligence services. Then Brant, wanting to help him, turned him into the CIA, warning him in advance to make his escape in time. On board, the stewards discover that almost all the passengers have Lucas's photo on their phone screens. He realizes they are looking for him. Finding himself in a desperate situation, he decides to act first, using the surprise effect in the food cart as an improvised weapon. A new mass brawl breaks out in the cabin between Lucas and the assassins, causing the regular passengers to flee in panic. After dealing a few blows, he nearly gets caught in a trap, but Isha helps him fight back in time. The agent warns her not to interfere. If the opponents realize who their real target is, the situation will only get worse. However, their conversation is overheard by 2 mercenaries who instantly attack from both sides. Lucas gets a rival who has hidden a knife in a musical instrument. In a tense fight, he gains the upper hand, but is wounded in the side. This makes the next fight with the big bully more difficult for him. He presses his fingers on the wound, but Lucas strangles him with his seatbelt and then rushes to help Isha, who kills his attacker by hitting him with a food container. They almost connect, but suddenly Lucas is hit in the leg by a dart fired by the 3 Japanese women. The fight is stopped by Isha, explaining that they are on the same side. It turns out that the Japanese women are apprentices of Master Lian, whom the girl saved from bandits by spending stolen money. To dress Lucas's wounds and avoid more attacks, the group descends into the baggage hold through one of the hatches. There, Isha tells her story. As an orphan, she was sold into slavery. She worked in an electronics assembly factory until she developed an aptitude for programming. Using this skill, she escaped and began to seek revenge. Long years of labor led to the creation of a powerful computer with artificial intelligence, capable of hacking into any system in a matter of minutes. At this time, Brant receives information that under torture, the veterinarian identified a ghost, a girl named Aisha. Upon learning this, Hunter goes outside, where he confronts his boss. It turns out he gave the hitman Lucas's photo himself, as he wants to get hold of the hacker's device and eliminate her. Hunter offers his boss a cut, after which they enter a building that resembles a data center. Meanwhile, on board, Isha is informed that the hitmen have her photo. After inspecting the plane, the assassins guess that their targets are hiding in the baggage compartment and head there. Lucas suggests attacking from two directions, nose and tail, using the hatches. To cheer himself up, he drinks an ampule of adrenaline, but it turns out to be toad poison. Soon the effects take their toll, and everything around him seems distorted. When a new fight begins, he sees a hitman with lenses sparkling with light, though in reality blood is spurting from his head. The firefight causes damage to the fuselage, and the plane abruptly loses altitude. While the pilots try to stabilize the situation, the assassins continue to fight, ejecting their opponents through the resulting gap. When the pressure equalizes, the co-pilot wants to go to the bathroom, but when he opens the door, he lets in two men dressed as priests. Those quickly kill him, without a second thought as to who will now fly the airliner. In the cabin, only things calm down a bit as the survivors surround Lucas. At that moment, Isha appears from the luggage compartment and tosses him a chainsaw. He immediately unleashes a bloody massacre, leaving his enemies no chance. However, Japanese women are among the dead. When the last enemy is gone, it becomes clear that the pilots are dead. At this time at the airfield, Brant and Hunter are waiting for the plane, but it never appears. Realizing that they have been betrayed, Brant kills Hunter in cold blood and then calls Lucas. The bleeding agent reports that he failed the mission. He was unable to deliver either the hacker or her device. He also accuses Brant of using child labor, revealing that he knows her dirty deeds. It turns out that the plane with Aisha on board isn't going to San Francisco at all. After saying goodbye to her, Lucas passes out. When he wakes up, he finds himself in a dark room that looks like a makeshift hospital room. He barely has time to look around before there is a huge explosion. Isha appears in a puff of dust, saying that the story is not over.